Good morning and God bless students. I am now going to discuss to you the topics for Module 6 entitled Microsoft Excel Working with Formulas. Alright, so here are the topics that we're going to tackle in this module. We are going to discuss on creating formulas or how to uh, craft or create a formula uh, depend uh, depending on your on the needs on your table. Also, I will discuss here how to copy formulas. Now there are ways how to be productive in uh, implementing formulas in each cell, and also different formula references. Now we will tackle here the differences of these three formulas or formula references, and also how to use functions. Okay, and that involves the format, no, also on how to do that in the formula bar. And lastly will be on built-in functions. Will I will just give you a short overview for this one, and also including a link to where you can read or study different built-in functions, because there are like lots of built-in functions already in MS Excel. Okay, so let's start from here. Okay, so in MS Excel, formulas are actually called as the bread and butter, of worksheet. And without formulas, in Excel, a worksheet will just be a simple tabular representation of data. No, it's just like Word. No, and there's no difference at all. And it a formula consists of special code, which is of course entered into a cell, and eventually perform some calculations and returns a result, which will be displayed again in the cell. Formulas, they use a variety, different operators in a worksheet. No, we also use, or it also use a worksheet functions to work with values and text. And the values and text that will be used in formulas can be located in other cells, which will be discussed in referencing, which makes changing data easy and gives worksheets their dynamic nature. Now, for example, you can change the data in a worksheet, and uh, formulas works. Okay, so here are the elements of formulas. I believe this is something familiar, no, with this operators that we're going to use, because they are just uh, basic operators we use in mathematics. First, we have the mathematical operators, such as the addition, the multiplication. There's uh, division, there's subtraction as well. Okay, for example, this one we have a1 plus a2. Basically, that adds the values in cell A1 and A2. For values or text, from the term itself, for example, we have here 200 times 0 0.5. That automatically multiplies 200 times 0 0.15. So uh, obviously this formula uses only values, no, and exact values, and it always returns the same result. So whatever value we place on the formula bar, it always return the same result. Okay, so that's for values or text. For cell references, that includes named cells and ranges. Okay, so we have here example a a1 equals C12, no, which compares the cell A1 with cell 12. So if the cells are the same or identical, the formula returns true, no? Otherwise false. And lastly, we have what we call as the worksheet functions, such as sum or average. Okay, so this works as functions, no, given that whatever uh, whatever values we have inside this parenthesis will be or whatever range, no, range of cells we have in this parenthesis inside the sum, it adds, no, the values from in the range A1 to cell A1 to cell A12. All right, so let's try to create a formula now here. For example, okay, all right, so for this given example, no, we would like to add a formula here. No, I'll just delete this one and this one as well. Okay, and this. So what we only have here in our table are the amount of salary of the following. For example, employee. We have three employees here, and they have a given amount or amount of salary in this month, no, given months like June and July. So what we're going to do here, what output that you would like to have is the total salary amount, no, of these employees for this month. Okay, so basically, kung mata-matahon, we'll just have to add, no, but we will apply formula for this cells here. So first is go to the formula bar, no, obviously, to write the formula here. And to write the formula, you should begin with the symbol equals. Okay, so when building formulas manually, that like what we're doing right now, you can either type in the cell address or you can point to them in the worksheet. Okay, I will show you how. And using the pointing method, this supply the cell addresses for formulas, in a very easy and more powerful way. So mas easy siya, mas dali siya. Now, for example, for this cell, no, to input a formula manually first, no, manual sa nato. First thing that we're going to identify is what cell that we're going to add, no. Okay, so cell we have in this column we have C, and in this row we have 4. So let's type C4. C4. Okay, so our name of the cell is valid given nga ma-active ang cell C4, and then the color of the text in the formula bar is color blue. Okay, and then C4 plus our operator addition, and then let's identify the next cell, which is under the column of D in the row 4. So we have D4. Okay, so after that, hit enter to get the result. Okay, so if you're wondering why nga nung na-IP dira, that is just the uh, format no of the cell which we have discussed no in the previous modules. Okay, so that is how you manually input the formula. Now for the pointing method, no, to supply the address for formula, all you have to do is to click the cell. We have equals and then which cell that you want to uh, include. Okay, so I just click this one and then type the operator and then uh, click the other cell no, that I would like to add and then hit enter. So inana lang. So but when you are going to use a built-in function, you click the cell or drag no through the cell range that you want to use. Okay, so okay, we have different built-in no, functions which later I will show you an example. So as you complete formula entry in the cells, no, it automatically calculates the result, no, which is then displayed in the cell within the worksheet. Okay, so however, the contents of the formula will continue to be visible on the formula bar. Now, kung i-click na ko ni, what you're going to see in the formula bar is the formula, not the exact amount. But in the cell, actual cell, no, the result. Okay, so if you make an error in the formula that prevents Excel from being able to calculate the formula, the Excel will display an alert dialog box suggesting how to fix the problem. Okay, so for example, in this cell, for example, I would like to type instead na C6, no? So ako ang na pindot is C3 and then add with CD3. Okay, so this type no of result will be displayed. No, kung nantaw ni mo dire, there's another uh, button here, no, a list which shows you which will give you an option no, how to deal with the error. So kung ako na ning i-highlight no, so naa siya kuan description. So a value used in the formula is of the wrong data type, which means we have used an operator on the on a text no, which cannot be calculated. So this will give us a hint nga sayo pa to ang cell nga napindot or nagamit. Okay? So all right, so that's for the mathematical operators. So to copy, no, to copy the formulas, yari sa in the Excel is actually very easy. So when a formula uses cell references rather than constant values, no, Excel makes the task of copying an original formula to every place that requires a similar formula. So we have the first one here, which is what we call as the relative cell address. Okay, the MS Excel, it does automatically adjust the cell references in the original formula to suit the position of the copies that you make through the system known as the relative cell address. So here we're going to use in this example a a built-in, no, a built-in formula for this case. So ato lang na siyang gamiton kani siya nga function to get the sum of certain rows or certain columns. Okay, for example, here you would like to get the total of the salary amount of all the employees in the month of June. Okay, so in the example, we use the sum. Okay, so here you can use this one, the function sum. Okay, or you can manually type or just use the pinpoint method. So let's type sum. Okay, if you see there's uh, uh, suggested functions that will appear whenever you type or key in the function. So sum, and then we're going to use close and open parentheses to write the arguments inside. So it suggests the number, no, that we would like to get the sum for, and or the range. So kung i-click na ko na, that will automatically get the value only for the cell. But if I want to get the entire value of the month of June, so I'll just highlight the this rows or this set of cells and then hit enter. So that will automatically get the sum of the salary the salary of the employees in the month of June. So for referencing, no, for the relative cell address, you can just click, no, since okay, so since the point here is to just do the same or to apply the same functions in this row. So given same ra pod ang functions nga itong gamiton. Okay, but to make it easier and faster, dili na nato na siya i-type, no, or manually type ang formula. So all I have to do is just click this cell nga naa siya function, and then in this kani siya nga edge, makita nato na siya murag gamay nga box dira. And the moment I hover my pointer here, mouse pointer, the mouse icon will change to plus. So I'll just click this one and then drag to the next cell. Okay, and it will just copy the formula, but not exactly, no, not exactly the same formula. It will just copy the function. So kung asa siya natunong, no, kung unsa to nga column ang ihang gikuha, no, will be the same column on the next iyahang ibutang dari sa iyang argument. All right, so okay, so you can actually do the same, no, with this formula here. Pwede po nato na i-drag to copy. Okay, and then do the same here, drag and copy. All right. Okay, so most formulas you create include references, no, to cells or ranges. Dili gina siya mawala. And these references will enable your formulas to work dynamically with the data contained in those cells or ranges. No, for example, kung nakay or if you have if your formula refers to cell 2 and you change, okay, or if I have formula here that refers to this cell, no, C4 and I want to change the value here. Okay, so the formula result reflects new value automatically. So, diba, the array, for example, the array, we have C4, no, plus D4. But if I want to change my uh, the value no in this cell, like 30,000 na siya muna kung 35,000. Okay, so that the value no in this cell nga naa siya formula, which refers to the C4, will also change, no? If you observe na change siya ganina. So I'll try it again. Muna kong 550. Okay, so values here will also change. So ang formula na to dire one isa ka cell nag-refer siya diari sa C4, and then this also ang isa ka formula or ang isa ka addend nag-refer ani nga cell. Okay, so kaning duha. Diari pud sa ubos kaning tulo. So kung naay ma-change nga value ani nila, one of this cell, ang value po dire will automatically be reflected. Okay, so we have three no cell references in formulas. We have relative cell references, like what we did no in the previous example. So the row and column references can change when you apply the formula to another cell, because the references are actually offsets no from the current row and column. So uh, by default, si Excel, it creates a relative cell references no in formula. Okay, so we have a formula like this when we're going to use a relative reference. So naa siya function, and then inside the parenthesis is the arguments of your function. Next is the absolute cell reference, where the row and column references do not change when you copy the formula, because the reference is to an actual cell address. So ganina pag copy nako, although gi-copy nako ang formula, like just drag it in uh, in the next cell, no, ang value wala niya gi-copy, but only the formula. Okay, so an absolute reference uses a dollar sign in its address, one for the column letter and one for the row number. So for example, okay, if you use the okay, so for this example, okay, let's use another cell. For example, for the absolute references, no, I will just type manually so that we can see how it really works. Now for this reference, or for this column, we will apply the absolute reference. So the dollar sign equals, and then a dollar sign, and then the column, we have C, and then another dollar sign, and then the row no kung asa siya, we have 4. Okay, plus, for example, kaning sa ubos, a dollar sign, and then the column, we have C, dollar sign, and then we write 5. Okay. Okay, so let's include na lang si C6 para ma-compare na to ang iyang value, results value. We have dollar sign and we have C dollar sign 6. Okay, so it has the same, no? It has the same value. Let's try to change this one to 25. What will happen? Okay. So therefore, uh, so kung i-copy na ko ni, no, if I'm going to copy this one, so makita na to, no, that the row and column references, okay, so did not change, no. So bisan pag uh, kopyahon ako ni, no, ako ni ibalhin diri, no, dili affected ang atong references. Okay, because the reference is to an actual cell address. Okay, so an absolute reference, again, it uses two dollar signs in its address, one for the column letter and one for the row number. So kibali maura pud siya ani o function. Okay, for the mixed cell reference, both row or column references or reference is relative and the other is absolute. No, only one of the address part is absolute. So mixed siya na siya we use the same function like sum, and then okay, for example sa total, okay, diari na lang. So total diari. So butangan nato ni siya, no, og kuan, we have sum, we have this one. Okay, supposedly taman dira, but let's apply mixed, no, but pasabot si only one address part, no, is absolute. So let's only put the dollar sign here and then this one. So wala siya sa sugod. Okay? So we can actually do that as well. No? So pwede ka makagamit og mixed. You can use absolute like this one or this one for the reference cell or relative cell references. Relative cell references, this is for absolute and this is for the mixed. So many formulas you create use available worksheet functions, no? And these functions enable you to greatly uh, enhance, no, the power of your formulas and perform calculations that are difficult. Now, for example, you can use a log or sin function to calculate the logarithm or the sin ratio. You can do this complicated calculation by using the mathematical operators that I have showed you. So dili siya inana dili siya inana ka dali nga gamitan lang nimo siya og mathematical operators. You should actually use the log for the logarithm or the sin ratio, for example. Okay, so for example, when you type equals, for example, the array equal sign, if you're going to type m, no, this will show you number of functions, no, starting with m. Okay, so for example, max. Now, if I'm going to use this one, this will get the maximum value of the given, for example, here the column. Okay, okay. So uh that's the function, no, of for this uh of this function alone. So ang max, kuha niya ang pinaka highest nga, or the maximum value of this range of cells. And this is just one of the functions in the Excel, available in Excel. So ano lang, no, the same with minimum, max. We have minimum. It returns the smallest number, no, in a set of values, and it ignores logical values and text. So highlight na ko diari. Okay, so ganina, no, dili lang kita magpanic if symbol like this will appear. It means nga dili kaigo sa width sa imuhang cell ang tanang decimals. So imo lang nang i-drag ang width na para makita. So the minimum or the lowest, no, in this given range of cells, makita man pud nato kay tulo ra man pud ang value dira. So minimum gid ang 15 and maximum si 3 million. Okay, and another example pod na that atong gamitan, no, for example sa okay, for the relative cell, uh for this given, okay, example, no, from January to June na sales, no, in the year 2020. So for example, here are the key, or the for example, ID. This is the ID number of the employee. So for the relative cell, no, so gamitan nato siya sum, and then just, sorry, supposedly there. So sum, and then highlight the cell, close, then enter. Okay, okay, for the absolute, okay, you can actually copy this one. Now for the relative cell, copy, just drag this one to here. So this will automatically place a relative cell formula. For absolute formula, for example, the array, delete lang natin na siya, equals, highlight nato, and then supposedly tagsa-tagsaon, no, ang kuan, ang cell, and then add this one, and then dollar sign plus the cell, okay, plus this, sorry. Okay, lastly, okay, here we can do mixed cell reference here. Okay, example, again, sum, and then inside the argument, yung mo nang i-highlight ang range sa cell, kuhaan mo, and then apply absolute. Okay. So, ano lang, no? For the built-in function, you can apply or get the maximum value, no, and place here in the cell, right? Max. Click na to ni highlight and then close. Okay, so this will automatically get the maximum value of this range of cell, the maximum value. So apply nimo sa tanan, drag lang nimo. For the minimum, we can type and do the same here, highlight, close, and then I will drag this one until here. And if you would like to also, or if you want to find out if the cell of the month is greater than, for example, greater than 150, so that we can give bonus, no, to our sales representative, then we can achieve it by writing formula with if functions. No, for example, the array, let's write if. All right, so and then here's what we're going to do. So since total man atong pangayoon for each representative, ato sa aning kuhaon di ari. Sorry. So copy lang nato. This is semi-absolute, so that will actually copy the value. Kuhaon lang nato, no, ang iyang total. So auto sum na lang nato, and then drag. So we'll get the, okay, apply here the if kani siya nga cell will be how much is this one? 1,000 lang. So if this one is greater than 900, butang na to 900, then comma, and then yes, so two argument, and then yes siya if greater, no, or mo true siya, and then if not or mo false, butang na to no as a text. Okay, so for this representative, so di ari na nato butang for this. Let's copy. Okay, para dali ra. If this one, okay, so for this representative, may bawaan na to if na siya bonus or wala. So i-drag na to copy. Alright, so since greater man sila tanan, so yes ang iyahang remarks. So si Excel napa siya'y kuan napa siya'y ginatawag nato built-in functions no, which we can use no in our formula. And to see all of these functions by category, you can go to the formula tab, and then this one, insert function. Okay, and then ay sorry, so dire na lang sa blanco de. So we have insert function here. Okay, so you can select categories and then select functions. Okay, okay, link here I provided, where if you're going to read further for each function's description and sample formula, you can actually go in this website. If you are going to click that website, it will take you here. You just have to scroll down and go to common functions. Here are the most commonly used functions in Excel formula. So naa siya'y category and the name of the function and description and also the usage. Okay, so you just have to uh, read here no, if you want to know further. All right, so those are the topics no, that uh, included in working with formulas. So for the next topic that we're going to discuss, that will be on the advanced operation in MS Excel, and that will be on Module 7 video lecture discussion. Okay, so after Module 7, I will give you the activity and also the examination. So you just have to wait for my instructions na lang. So I think that's all for this video lecture, and God bless.